Hello everyone, in this video we will learn about wind currents are generated due to uneven heating on the earth. So these situations are, first is uneven heating between the equator and the poles, that means the complete earth. So what will happen? In our geography we learn about the latitude and the longitudes. So here we are having this. Now in this diagram we can easily understand how the wind currents are generated. So this is the equator, and we all know that it is just because closest to the sun it is getting the maximum heat, and that is the reason this portion is too much hotter as compared to the other regions. So whenever the equator is getting the heat, whatever the air is present on this portion, it will be start heating up and it will be rises up. So when it become rises up, what will happen? It will create a low pressure area, and due to that, whatever the air is present on the polar region, it will rushes toward the equator from the both the side. So this creates a wind currents. So this is how wind currents are generated due to the uneven heating on earth. Now second is uneven heating on land and water. So we all know about the land breeze and sea breeze. So the land portion is quickly heated as compared to the water. So whenever the sun rays falls on the earth, the land portion became more heated up, or it is more hotter as compared to the water. That is the reason, due to uneven heating, the land breeze and sea breeze occur. So same thing is happens in oceans and land also. So whenever the air is coming or wind is coming from sea portion, it is carry the water, and that water is falls on the land in the form of rain. That means whatever the winds which are coming from the oceans to the land, they brings rain. So mostly it is occur in the monsoon season, and in monsoon season whenever it is occur, so lots of farmers are getting relief. Reason, they no need to irrigate their land, and that is the reason they are good for the farmers. But whenever these type of winds are not in the monsoon region, it is occur at any other time, at that time it is creating a problem to the farmers. So let's study such two situations: thunderstorm and cyclone. Now thunderstorm and cyclone. So thunderstorm develops in the hot, humid and tropical areas like the India. So in India we are having lots of thunderstorm and cyclones, so it is very frequent in India. So the rising temperature produces a strong upward rise wind. That means whenever the temperature is rising too much faster, at that time whatever the air is there, it will moves or it will rises up at very high speed, and these carry water droplets. That means whatever the wind is moving upward or it is rising upward, these are carrying the water droplets, and whenever they are reaching to a particular height, they became again frozen, or they become condensed, and due to their condensation they again falls down, and due to their falls down, when they are moving again or they are comes down again at a very high speed. So due to the rising speed or rising air, and whatever the droplets are falls down, so they are creating a friction, and due to that they are creating a lightning and sound, and this event is known as the thunderstorm. That means whatever the air is rising up and whatever the water droplets are coming down, so they are creating a lightning and sound. Due to that we call this thunderstorm. Now if the thunderstorm or if a storm is accompanied by a lightning, so we must take following precautions. So what precaution we should take if lightning is occur? So at that time, do not take shelter under a isolated tree. That means a tree which is too much isolated, nearby there is no tree. So if any tree which is too much isolated, so much, don't try to take a shelter under them. Second thing, if there is a forest, so take a shelter under a small tree, not a tall tree, in a small tree, and do not lie on the ground. That means we should not lie down on the ground first. Second thing, Do not take a shelter under an umbrella or with a metallic hand. That means if you are having an umbrella, so don't try to take a shelter under umbrella which is having the metallic hand. So if the handle of this umbrella is made up of metal, so don't take any shelter or don't take shelter under this umbrella. Second, do not sit under near the window. So if you are at the in the house, so don't sit near the windows. Open garage, store, sheds or metal shades are not safe place to take shelter. That means if your shade is made up of metal, so don't take shelter under that. Now a car or a bus is a safe place to take a shelter. That means if you are having a car and if you are having any bus or any vehicle, at that time you this is the best place to take the shelter. Now if you are in water, that means if you are in any river, near any river place or in any swimming pool, whatever is there, so if you are in water, so just get out from that place and get inside the building. So overall, don't take shelter under the water. Don't take shelter under the tall tree or any isolated tree or near the window. So these are the some precautions that you have to take when lightning is occur. Now, how the thunderstorm becomes a cyclone. That means whenever the thunderstorms occur, at that time, how it is converting into the cyclone. So for this, we should understand first when the water is getting the heat, is convert into the water vapor. At the height, it will forms the cloud, and when these clouds are raining, so whatever the droplets are there, they will release the heat. So whatever the air is present in that area, it will get the heat and it will rises up. So due to that, here we are getting the low pressure. So from the high pressure, the air will be rushes toward in that area. And after some time, due to its continuous cycle, what will happen? It will create a circular motion. And due to that circular motion, it will create a cyclone. So this is how the cyclone is formed in the atmosphere. Now, some factors are like wind speed, wind direction, temperature, and humidity. These are some factors who are contributing to the development of the cyclone. So, when these type of factors are so much favorable for making this, then only the cyclone is formed. Not always cyclone is formed. Now, here we can see whenever the rains occur, so whatever the raindrops are there, they will releasing the temperature. So air which is present in that portion, it will start heating up, it will be rises up. Then the air from the low pressure, it will rushes toward the center, and due to its revolving action occurs, that called the cyclone. Now destruction caused by the cyclone. So whenever the cyclone occurs, it is very much destructive because strong winds pushes water towards the shore even if the storm is of hundred of kilometers away. That means if it is too much far away, then also it is able to pull the water. Now when this happens, these are the first indication of an approaching cyclone. That means whenever the cyclone is approaching at that time, these type of activities are occurs. And the water waves produced by the wind are so powerful that a person cannot overcome them. That means no person can be overcome when these type of cyclones occur. And a low pressure in the eye lifts the water surface in the center. And rising water may be at the height of 3 to 12 meters, which is too much high, and it appear like a water well moving toward the shore. That means it is just like a water well. As a result, the seawater enters the low-lying coastal areas, causing a several loss of lives and properties. It also reduces the fertility of soil. That means lots of destruction occurs at that time. Now, continue heavy rain may cause the flood situation, and high-speed wind accompanied by cyclone can damage houses, telephones, and other communication systems, trees, etc., causing tremendous loss of life and property. So these type of activities or these type of situations can be occur at the time of cyclones. Now, cyclone is known by different names in different parts of the world. It is called the hurricane in the American countries. In Philippines and Japan, it is called the typhoon. So these are the different names by which we can call the cyclone. Now we are having the tornadoes. In our country, they are very frequent. The tornado is a dark funnel shaped cloud that reaches from the sky to the ground, just like this. So here we can see it is a dark color cloud which is reaches from sky to the earth. Now most of the tornadoes are weak. A violent tornado can travel at a speed of about 300 kilometers per hour, and tornado may form within cyclone. That means at the time of cyclones also these type of tornadoes can be formed. The whole coastline of the India is vulnerable to cyclone, particularly the east coast. So the east portion or the east coast of our country is totally vulnerable for these type of tornadoes or cyclones. The west coast of India is less vulnerable to cyclone storm both in terms of intensity and the frequency of the cyclones. So in these areas, that means the west coast is quite less vulnerable as compared to the east coast, because whenever the cyclone is occur or whenever the cyclone is formed, it is first hit to the east coast. Now, effective safety measures. So, what effective safety measures we should take at the time of cyclones and tornadoes or whatever this type of natural disasters? A cyclone forecast and warning service. So, we should take care of these type of cyclone forecast and warning services. Rapid communication of warning to the government agencies, the ports, fishermen, ships, and the general public. So, whatever the information is regarded to these type of disaster, it should be transmit to the general peoples by the communication methods. Now, construction of cyclone shelters in the cyclone forms area. That means whatever the areas which are vulnerable for these type of cyclones, the government agencies should make these shelter for them, for the peoples, and administrative agreements for the moving people fast to the safe place. If that area is too much vulnerable, then whatever the peoples are there, they should be migrate or they should be moved from to the safe place. Now, action on the part of the public. What should a public can do at the time of these type of disasters? So we should not ignore the warning issued by the meteorological department through TV, radio, or newspaper. So whatever the warnings are given by the meteorological department, that means the weather forecast department, so we should not ignore them. So we should make necessary arrangement to shift the essential household goods, domestic animals and vehicles, etc., for this to safe place. So whatever these type of materials are there, we should ready to transfer them. Now avoid driving on roads through standing water, as flood may have damaged the roads. So whatever the roads which are attached to the water, so we should not try to drive there. So we should avoid them. Reason, if flood is there, so it can damage that area. So whatever the roads are there, they can easily fall in the water. That is the reason we should avoid the driving in that routes, and keep ready whatever the phone numbers are there for the emergency service like the police, fire brigades, and the medical center. So we should take these type of numbers ready for their our use. Now some other precautions. If you are staying in a cyclone hit area, do not drink water that could be contaminated. Always store drink water for emergency. So whatever the water is contaminated, don't try to drink them. Always store water for drinking purpose. pure water. Do not touch the wet switches and fallen power lines. So whatever the switches which are wet and whatever the power lines which are falls down, do not try to touch them. Now, don't try to go out just for fun. When there is an emergency, then only go outside at the time of cyclone. Don't try to go just for fun. And do not pressurize the rescue force by making undue demands. That means don't try to say that first of all, let's our goods transfer, then we will go. So don't try to pressurize them. Whatever they are doing, just help them and cooperate them. And cooperate and help your neighbors and friends. So whatever your neighbors and friends are there, try to help them. Nowadays we are so much secure from these type of natural disasters. Reason we are having the satellite and different type of radar system, so that we can easily get the cyclone alert and the cyclone watch. So, and that can be issued 48 hours in advance of any expected storm and the cyclone warning. It is issued 24 hours in advance. That means whatever the cyclone or any type of natural disasters is occur or it is going to occur at that time, before 24 hours we are getting the information. And that is the reason these type of messages can be broadcast every hour or half an hour when the cyclone is near to the coast. So whenever it is too much near, so whatever the warning is there, these type of warning can easily be given, or it is given within a hour or within half an hour in the that area. Now, several national and international organizations cooperate to monitor the cyclone-related disasters. So, whatever these type of disasters are there, we are having lots of organizations which are national as well as international organizations are also there that can easily monitor them for the peoples.